Hey guys, Monica here, and I want to talk a little bit today about a topic that I happen to love, and I think you do too, and that is meditation, or more specifically, the importance of having a meditation practice, a formal, mindfulness or meditation um, practice that we commit time to daily or twice daily for anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours. I think there's been so much emphasis on the importance of this in the last few years. People like Oprah Winfrey, even in her office, have or has instituted a break for her workers in which they're able to meditate. I believe it's twice a day. They're doing studies in schools with children between 4 and 8 and showing that when they institute a formal mindfulness practice of just sort of watching their stomachs rise and fall, which in itself is certainly a form of meditation, on a daily basis, are having spectacular results, and apparently it's the single biggest predictor of success later in life, more so than economic background, where they go to school, um, their family of origin, anything like that. So it's pretty amazing stuff, and I certainly don't doubt the importance and the benefits of a twice daily practice, or even a daily practice of 10 or 20 minutes. And I'll be honest, there are times when I've had that, and there are times when I've struggled to meditate more than a couple times within a year. I'm sorry, I'm really distracted right now because both my animals are on either side of me. This is what happens when you're a mom of 4 fur babies. Anyway, this is why meditation is so important in my life, by the way. But the point is, there's going to be times when it's easier than others, right? I've heard it said that if we're going through something really difficult, perhaps we're needing to really kind of work on a childhood wound or heal from a really horrific loss, or we're just really in a place where maybe we're not as available to ourselves. It's going to be really hard to sit with that sort of darkness and that uneasiness, because we're just in such a dark place. So at that time, perhaps it's going to be more important that we do the work on ourselves, whether it's, with the help of a mentor or a counselor or a support group, getting the just therapeutic help that we need, if medication is in order. I mean, there's a number of things that sometimes sort of are going to take precedence there. And then perhaps, as soon as possible, we institute that practice. But I think the other thing to remember is, well, one, it's pretty counterintuitive to beat ourselves up for not having a formal practice, right? I think the kind of whole goal in meditation, at least the way I see it, is really to become really at peace and comfortable with ourselves, with all the thoughts, with all the feelings, and to really come to a place of loving kindness, both within ourselves and the world around us. So to kind of beat ourselves up for not having said practice at all points in our life, or for even perhaps years at a time, just doesn't really seem helpful. But I know we're all guilty of it, right? Or many of us will sort of feel bad if we're not doing yoga, or eating healthy all the time, or sort of practicing non-harm, and minimizing our waste, and all these other sort of really spiritual ideas of how we want to live. It's great to have principles, but we can't beat ourselves up if we fall short from time to time, because see, we're spiritual beings, but we're also human beings. And I think it's first and foremost important that we learn to be gentle with ourselves, and just accepting of the process and the fact that it's going to change. So that being said, I think the one last thing to really keep in mind is that if we're bringing the principles behind meditation to our daily lives in other ways, the singleness of attention that is required in meditation, if we're able to kind of put our devices away, turn the TV off, just have peace and quiet in our house, maybe sit out on our porch or our balcony, and watch the birds do their thing, or just sort of listen to the sounds of Mother Nature. That's a meditative experience. Similarly, one of my favorite rituals, if we can set aside 20 minutes and, light some candles and create a really relaxing environment for ourselves, take a nice bath with some essential oils or some, bath salts, and just really give ourselves 20 minutes of uninterrupted me time and time to just be with ourselves. How often do we do that, without being attached to a device or a social media network or, in traffic? I mean, there's very few times when you really get down and look at it that we have that complete stillness within our day. So if we can achieve that, the cat that I spoke of, through things like, that ritualistic bath time, or, even running. I know for some people, not me personally, but I know for some is a very meditative experience because they just sort of become one with the environment, and all sort of thoughts of things they've got to do tomorrow or hang-ups from yesterday just sort of fall by the wayside, and it's about really just being in that moment and being fully engaged with the task at hand. So I guess my point is anything that you can do throughout your day to just sort of escape that hamster wheel type existence and that sort of slave to doing type mentality where we can just be with ourselves, just practice deep listening and being curious of our own thoughts, of our own emotions, practicing that non judgment as much as possible, and really just having that attitude of loving kindness for sort of whatever comes up, one, and two, whatever way we need to sort of get still in that day, because it's not always going to look the same. Our spiritual practice is not meant to be a static one. Our journey is going to ebb and flow, and some days are going to be easier than others. Some day things are just going to kind of come together almost effortlessly, and others, it's going to feel like we're really having to work for every little bit of joy, and that's all right. I think the whole thing is to just be okay through all of it, and that means being accepting of having that formal meditation practice at times, and at others, being okay with squeezing in a hot bath at the end of the day or a good book, 20 minutes of reading time. So be gentle with yourselves once again. We're all doing the best we can with the tools that we've got and the level of awareness that we have. That's something I truly believe and try to remember when dealing with people and where they might be on their path. So I hope that this served you guys well today, and I would love to hear from you about the things that maybe formally or informally you do to achieve that daily meditation or mindfulness. I think we can get there in so many fun and interesting ways. So I'd love to hear from you guys, and if you want to make sure that you never miss an update from me, hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you get all these videos to your inbox. And till next time, be well, guys.